Welcome while we read about the chosen successor of Andrew Jackson, Martin Van Buren. You might remember that Martin Van Buren, we mentioned him first talking about the petticoat affair because it was his idea for Jackson's cabinet to resign so that way Jackson could get the government going again. And as payment for that, show of loyalty, Jackson was like, "Oh, yes, I choose you, and I shall promote you to be my successor." He is the 8th President of the United States of America. He was president from March 4th, 1837 to March 4th, 1841. Martin Van Buren was raised speaking Dutch. He was not a native English speaker. He spoke Dutch as a kid. And he learned English at school, making him the first and only United States president to speak English as his second language. Early on, he was a Democratic Republican, not a Federalist, when he was much younger. He won election to the New York State Senate and quickly became very influential there. He was elected to the United States Senate in 1821 and supported William H. Crawford in the 1824 presidential election. John Quincy Adams won the 1824 election, and Van Buren opposed his proposals for federally funded internal improvements and other measures. Van Buren's goal was to reestablish a two-party system with differences based on facts rather than personalities or sectional differences. And Van Buren supported Jackson's candidacy against Adams in the 1828 presidential election with this goal of bringing back the two-party system in mind. To support Jackson's candidacy, Van Buren ran for governor of New York. He won, but later resigned to accept appointment as the U.S. Secretary of State. This is where he came up with the idea to resign, because of the petticoat affair. Van Buren was a key advisor during Jackson's 8 years as president of the United States, and he organized the early Democratic Party. So remember, the Democratic Party was born specifically to get Jackson elected. Who set that up? Martin Van Buren. Great organizer. Say what you want about him. Excellent organizer. He resigned from his position to help resolve the petticoat affair, then briefly served as the United States ambassador to the United Kingdom. At Jackson's request, Martin Van Buren was nominated for president. With Jackson's support, Van Buren defeated several Whig opponents in the election. Van Buren's response to the economic disaster, the Panic of 1837, caused by the Bank War, centered on his independent treasury system, a plan under which the federal government of the United States would store its money in vaults, remember the pet banks, rather than in banks. He also continued Indian removal policies. He maintained peaceful relations with Britain, but denied the application to admit Texas to the Union. This is why he's not a cool president. Anybody who says anything bad about Texas is not a good president. He's bad. Trying to minimize sectional tensions. Okay, fine. He had a good reason for why he didn't let Texas in. It just ruffles my Texan feathers. In 1840, in that election, the Whigs rallied around William Henry Harrison's military record and ridiculed Van Buren as Martin Van Ruin. This and a surge of new voters helped him lose, so he only served one term as president before he was defeated by William Henry Harrison, who called him Martin Van Ruin. Even back in those days, we were making fun of our presidents. In 1844, Van Buren was the leading candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency. Southern Democrats, known as Dixiecrats, however, were angered by his continued opposition to the annexation of Texas. It's the only time you're going to hear me saying something positive about the Dixiecrats. And the party nominated James K. Polk. Van Buren grew increasingly opposed to slavery, and he agreed to lead a third-party ticket in the 1848 election. He finished in third, but his presence in the race most likely helped the Whig, Zachary Taylor, win. Oh man, something he did that was good. Anyone who helped Zachary Taylor win, all right. This is if only he hadn't done that bad stuff about Texas. But all right, so this is Martin Van Buren, 8th President of the United States, president for one time, chosen successor to Andrew Jackson, loses to William Henry Harrison. All right, hope you're learning, and I hope you're having fun.